$100 smartphone. Is this mission impossible, or Poco just found a way to beat all the price challenges that tech industry faces lately? One way to find out. Let's inspect. Cheaper, cheapest, because this really is the cheapest device that the Xiaomi group is launching this year, branded as Poco globally, but in China it has been launched as a Redmi device, and I'm really happy to say that this year it was a rather positive surprise, unlike what it used to be with last year's C-series. So this video is about thoroughly inspecting the Poco C65, discovering all the strong and the weak sides, and figuring out which are the corners cut, enabling Poco to ask for such a tempting price. So is it any good? We're here to find out. Yeah, I know you want to hear about all the details, because when I tell you that you can have a brand new smartphone for just $109, this sounds like too good to be true. But it is, at least for the first pre-orders of the C65 by Poco. The 8GB RAM variation with more storage costs up to $150, which is also tempting enough and beating by far closest competitors, even the budget-friendly Realme devices such as the Moto C55. The unboxing experience is okay, not too different to what Xiaomi most premium devices would offer, meaning that they could finally do something about it. Over here, this is definitely great news for us, the consumers, because hey, this is for sure a good-looking smartphone. Okay, technically, maybe Poco cheaped out on providing a screen protector, because after peeling the protective marketing foil, there is no other layer left. So if you want a screen protector, you need to buy one yourself. Also, notice these unusually wide edges. It is on purpose, because this plastic backside is meant to protect your phone from drops, and looks like Poco's intention is to use the C65 without extra transparent case, which is of course something you may reconsider, given the fact that there are plenty of compatible protective solutions available on AliExpress for just a few dollars. So we could call this a corner cut. On the other hand, there is an included charger. Inside the box, it's a 10-watt charger, but the phone supports up to 18 at a maximum. The construction is nothing too remarkable. The placement of the port seems to be okay. There's a 3.5mm headphone jack. The back cover seems to keep fingerprints away. The display also has a shock absorption layer separating it from the frame. Of course, do not expect extraordinary durability, because such is impossible given the price point. But some of the specs are actually fine. An octa-core processor, 6 or 8GB of RAM, up to 256GB of storage plus a dedicated microSD slot, a 90Hz LCD screen with 600 nits peak brightness, a dual camera setup, 5000 mAh battery, GPS, dual-band Wi-Fi support, even FM radio, and it's launched with MIUI 14 based on Android 13. The specs are rather according to the price point. Nothing too spectacular, but not too many corners cut. This is powered by the Helio G85 system-on-a-chip. Do you remember the Redmi Note 9 from 2020? Well, the processor inside is about the same. The good news is that now you kind of restart the timer about software support, because it's a brand new smartphone. It's going to get at least a couple of years of software updates. And the other positive fact is that Xiaomi know about the performance of this processor pretty well, so they can extract the most out of it in terms of both performance and battery endurance, but given the manufacturing process, do not expect miracles about the battery life. The storage is a bit outdated over here, but in return you get generous amounts of RAM. And there's a bunch of testing we can further do. How about the gaming? How about the CPU throttling? We have to verify what's up with the battery life and the camera, and I guess we can carry on with the camera testing. It is a bit of a surprise if the claims that the main image sensor is the JN1 by Samsung, because we can find the very same image sensor with much more expensive smartphones. And actually, based on the quality of these photos, I'd say it is a job well done with the camera. Maybe the major drawback of the camera is not the lens or the image sensor or the aperture, it might be the processing unit, because MediaTek's G85 is nearly old mid-range chip, so it has a number of limitations, especially when compared to some modern AI-capable beasts. But hey, everything I see so far means that the camera of Poco C65 may be a lot better than what you think. No optical image stabilization, no fancy modes, even some advanced MIUI camera features are missing, but it's gonna give you the chance to capture good photos and, well, video quality which is definitely not as good. 1080p at 30 frames per second is the maximum that can be achieved given the hardware combo, and it's about right for daytime videography. The selfie camera has acceptable performance, won't impress, won't disappoint either. We move on with testing the overall performance. As a phone, it works excellent. You can easily make phone calls and the reception is nearly perfect. Also, you can navigate through the menus and find whatever you need. It's a Poco phone, so you get some bloatware, understand a few pre-installed games and apps, most of which are luckily removable. For social media and web browsing, the phone works fine too. Gaming is a bit more tricky, with struggles appearing should you want to run some resource-hungry games, but you can see that Real Racing 3 is playable. You can play Call of Duty as well, and to make sure that you won't stress the processor too much, just use the graphics modes with less details. And although the display has considerably high refresh rate, the resolution is just 720p. It's not that obvious at the beginning, but you can notice it with some games, especially if you have played these on higher-end smartphones. But a smaller resolution display kind of offloads the GPU and the CPU, so yeah, this can be actually good, and even the sound quality is acceptable. The processor is fairly stable about sustained maximum load, and the phone doesn't get too hot, seems to be rather battery-friendly. Reusing a not too new system on a chip has the benefit of having it tuned in the best possible way for battery life and performance both. Among the extras, if we can call these like that, a 3.5mm headphone jack, which is as well required for the FM radio service. Please comment below, when was the last time when you actually listened to FM radio regardless where? The Poco C65 has also decent battery life, for what it's worth, and good screen-on-time achievements, and there even is some sort of quick charging. It's definitely quicker than the Pixel 7a, but still, it takes a lot of time until the 5000 mAh battery gets fully recharged. And there's a dedicated microSD slot, haven't seen such in a long time. Now, let's take a look whether the software is at the right level. Well, it's MIUI based, meaning Android with functional and fluid skin on top. Lately, you may have heard that Xiaomi are working on their new Android flavor called HyperOS. When exactly, or if at all, it's gonna arrive to C65, I don't know yet. Therefore, we enjoy the software as it is, rich on customizations, a bit too heavy because of all these animations and colorful things, but at the same time, quite stable and pleasing to use. You know that I really prefer the stock feeling of Android, so if you do too, some themes are available for that purpose. Also, looks like the software support is gonna be available for at least 3 years. About security patches, I've seen some rumors claiming even longer support, but what I know for sure is that Android 14 is coming in the next months, and we're gonna see what follows next. Now, if we talk about drawbacks, given the price point, I'm a bit cautious here. But it's not waterproof, there's the lack of stereo speaker implementation, the weird lack of the Poco signature yellow color revision, and the limited availability globally, because everyone deserves to have access to a good budget smartphone these days. Well, you know what people say, that you get what you pay for, and I personally think that this year Poco somewhat over-delivered with their C65 model. It's a pretty well working Android smartphone with okay-ish camera, with rather good battery endurance, especially at this price point, and I think the availability of the 3.5mm jack for a wired headset is going to make it particularly attractive. Poco are advertising this as a smartphone for young people, where obviously budget is a priority, but I guess my mom, for instance, could use it pretty well because she doesn't really care about gaming or overall performance. So what do you think? Is it a smartphone for very young people, or for elder people, or for both target groups. Maybe we can carry on the conversation in the comment section below the video, where I'm also going to respond to all of your questions. And that's been everything about the review of the C65 by Poco. And thank you very much for watching this episode till the end. If you want to grab the best deal about this smartphone, check the video description area. If you want to follow me for more cool tech inspections, subscribe to the channel and give me a like. That's a great reward for all the work we have done around this episode. Have a lovely day, and I really hope to see you soon. Bye.